song if the crowd gets too big and you need to thin it out.
Aww.
Right, because once it gets big, then people hide behind other people.
And that's when the police come. They do. And you know, a lot of people actually get embarrassed when cops come and kick you away, but that's actually a good sign. It's a sign that
You did something right.
you don't go to jail. They just tell you to pack up and leave.
Right, what are they gonna do, fine me? I don't even have a name.
So, this is a beautiful, beautiful Civil War song. Y'all probably know it. Something familiar to people that they can grab onto is a big part of it. So a lot of people recognize that one. That one always went over really well. So, hey, any questions? Any further questions y'all have about nonsense we're saying? Sir.
Have y'all ever done that in New York?
That's a good question.
We've done it in Philadelphia. We've never done it in New York. We've done it in some different cities. So Philly, D.C.,
Sydney.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, don't ever go to the Jersey Shore.
Hey, I grew up going to Wildwood, so I take offense. We're split 50-50 on that. Oh, we also did it in Key West at the sunset at the end.
Oh yeah, at Mallory Square.
New York. I've never done New York. That's kind of like a.
You gotta
anybody?
fight.
Any y'all any street musicians here playing New York? You have. What's it like? I mean, I always thought about it.
It depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Did you do well over there?
It's really busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people passing by all the time.
But the problem is, how do you get them to stop?
Please stop. Subways.
Subways, yes.
That's a great idea because you got the amplification.
Right, and people are waiting.
And
Yep.
You know, in DC, actually, they don't play in the subways; they play outside of the subways. So when people come out, they have in DC it's different. You'll have just kind of what we're doing right now, but then you also have New Orleans bands. So a full-on second line thing, and they play right out. I don't know if anyone's familiar with DC, but DuPont Circle, and they'll play right out of the subway, and there'll be like 10 people, horns, tubas, drums, and those guys make a ton of money, I'm sure.
Hey, stay in school. Just kidding. Just get a fiddle.
What
do you recommend for shoes?
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, I like this. Well, boots. Boots, or bring like I would sometimes bring, if I brought shoes, like a piece of plywood, because the rhythm is huge. Because I mean, we played together, but I also went to Ireland for 4 months, and I just played street music there. So just don't ignore him. But these boots are great because it's very percussive. Obviously, I mean, you're playing on pavement or cobblestones or something like that. It's gonna make noise. The more noise you can make, the better. But yeah, I got like leather and like just stamp away. Because the more I realized when I first started, I couldn't even tap my foot, and slowly I got to the point where the more you can move, feel the music, and make it sort of a show, the better. And the stamp is huge.
Also, with some of the Irish people, we had like dancers in hard shoes come, and they would do the rhythm, the tick 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 with their shoes on the pavement, and that's just another interesting touch. But what we did, even like on stage sometimes, take a pallet from behind Lowe's, and then you put a piece of plywood over it, and you stamp on it. It just has this like nice, airy, percussive sound, and it adds a lot.
Well, that's exactly what we did our first year here at Merlefest. Is we were out in the gates. I don't know if anyone saw us, but we were out there and played like 4 sets a day, and we had this big piece of plywood, and we put tambourines on it and all this stuff to make a bunch of racket.
Exactly. So basically, when you kick it, it jingles. And so there's all kinds of different things. But you're very right. I mean, that percussive element is really lacking if it's just you as a fiddle player, you and a guitar player.
But this brings up a point. You do want to get your crowd involved, but one thing we find is that when you got acoustic instruments and you're singing, you want to do it for a while. But typically you want to go out there for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's good just to kind of go through your repertoire a couple of times to see how it's you have to change it or if you have to add stuff. So the thing is, whenever we ask people to clap because we want to get people involved, then everything was drowned out and you couldn't hear any of the music because it's all natural. So you have to think of like, okay, give me a one-handed clap, or snap your fingers and that type of stuff, because there's a danger if you're snapping and everyone starts clapping and the music just disappears. So there's kind of you'll learn.
Plus, it really helps to be playing fiddles rather than singing.
Yes,
it's
Singing
true.
is hard on the street.
and
Especially by yourself.
and also like the danger of singing on the streets is that you just blow your voice out because you want to project. But this year,
It's really, you're right. I mean, fiddles it's pretty lucky that I grew up playing fiddle, but it has such a nice resonance to it that you can do it. I couldn't imagine singing because, that would just blow out your voice. You got so much competition traffic and all that stuff. So.
Well, if you're singing, it may be worth trying. You go out and you do it yourself, and you see how you're doing it by yourself. But then, if you can, and there's a great culture of street performers out there. So if you see someone on the street that you like, and just say, listen, hey, today let's just do a test and let's play together and see if we do better, and we'll just split it 50-50. And for instance, like I could just point out somebody and like you. Yeah, come here. So,